Alright, well, Marna wanted me to go shoot, Leslie told me to go shoot, and Janine liked Leslie's comment. So here I am at the range, and here is lovely Virginia in February. And I'm going to set up over there and shoot a few guns for you. The first gun we're going to be shooting is an AR-15, and safety first. I would never advise shooting an AR-15 while you're ice skating, because it will not work out well for you or the people around you. This is a round that is shot by the American military. This is your standard M&P 15, which has got a vertical grip, flashlight, a legally acquired laser unit, and a scope. So we're just going to go ahead and chamber this thing and fire a few rounds and get it going. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to shoot bench rested at the remainder of them. See how that comes along. Hopefully the camera won't get thrown off. This is a 3x scope on a tripod. So let's see here. Hole straight through that one. I'm going to knock the top one off here now. Come on now. Take this lower one over here. Okay, our next firearm is going to be my much beloved Browning A-Bolt 338 Win Mag. And I got to get this thing tuned up as to the scope. It's got a nice loophole scope on it, but I've been having a little trouble with it because the recoil on this thing is pretty major. So I'll show you the ammunition here. And this is a 338 Win Mag. And to give you a comparison to what it is that we were just shooting here, this is the round that we were just shooting. So that's a 223 versus a 338 Win Mag, and it kicks like a mule. Okay, so I set up the 338 on the bipod. What we're going to do is we're going to do a straight chamber here. I'm not going to drop the magazine. And there we go. If you're new to center fire rifle, you slap that bolt. Okay, you don't want anything traveling back on you. Not that it would, because the pin wouldn't reach the primer, but still. Okay, let's see how we do here. This is always awkward on these benches. Okay. Okay, my mistake. High and to the right. But we got 1, 2, 3, let's call it 4 inches by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we know exactly what to do. We want to be right there. Okay, 2 inches high at 100 yards. While I've got the guns and the camera out, I just want to say about taking this buffer tube off here. If a certain boyfriend of my daughter has not been trained in the Corps as to how to properly remove a buffer tube without turning your weapon into a jack-in-a-box, which it will, then I will make a video about that. All right, there are springs in here, your receiver spring, there's a retention pin, as you know, and underneath that there's a spring, and then there are retention pins for your hinge springs here. Okay, so you have to be very careful, because if you pop the buffer tube in order to put, like, say, a 1-point sling attachment on there, that whole thing will just go pow, and you will have springs going all over the place. That will ruin your whole day. Okay, let's take another stab at this. These rounds, they're $2.50 a piece. Okay, so it's not like you can blast off a whole bunch zeroing a gun. All right, we get the round in the breech there. Slap that bolt. Get our ears on. I've been shooting without my ears, and I'm beginning to ring. Okay, and here we go. For God's sakes. All right, so actually, just because this thing is so cool to shoot, I'm going to shoot one more round after making some windage adjustments again, and we'll see what happens. Okay, the bottom line is I just ran 100 yards. The bottom line is this is called me being a bad shooter on a bad bench. When I'm shooting at these targets with a 223, that has zero recoil. I mean, it's very, very light. When you're shooting the moose grizzly bear gun, you're waiting for that kick, and this bench is terrible, and you're all hunched over waiting for it to come right into that joint with your shoulder and just blow you away. So that's called slapping the trigger right there. This is pretty much where the scope is zeroed at. So once I overcome myself, I'll get a better grouping. Next rifle I brought with me is the much beloved Mosin Nagant. This is the Russian infantry issue from World War II, and this has a simple infantry bolt here. It is, I think they're a 26-inch barrel. They're affectionately referred to as the $100 30-06, and in comparison to the 338 Win Mag, that is that's the round right there. It's almost like a neck down 30-06. It's pretty close to 308 actually. So we'll take a couple shots with this. I'm just going to breech load. What I want to do is introduce you to this other cool little gun I have, which is the ISSC 22. It's the M22, and it's designed to be similar to the Glock. It has as well the safety mechanism, which the Glock has with respect to the little lever here. It's a fantastic, fun little gun for anybody who's interested in getting into shooting, that wants to practice, and what have you. What I'd like to do is just give you a couple of basic safety rules and just introduce this gun. First of all, there are 4 rules, safety rules in terms of shooting. The first one is every gun is treated as if it is loaded, no matter what. Secondly, you never cross the muzzle of the weapon with anything you're not willing to destroy. Third, you never place your finger onto the trigger unless you have acquired your target. 4, you always know your target and the backstop. Now, when it comes to shooting a semi-automatic weapon, there is a certain way to hold it, okay? And there is a certain technique in terms of firing. The thing that you never want to do is place your hand back up here behind the slide. If you're new to shooting, that is something that you'll learn real quick. What will happen is, even with larger caliber guns, you will get a bad case of snake bite as that slide comes back and hits your hand as the gun is being fired. So what we want to do is we want to grip the gun, have a very firm grip on it. Training instructors, as far as firearms training and shooting, defensive shooting, are going to tell you you grip that thing as hard as you can grip it, okay? That prevents a few things. That is going to prevent what we call stovepiping. Stovepiping is where you have a loose grip, the slide comes back, there's not a lot of force against it, and next thing you know, you got a shell, an expended shell sticking out of there. Then you got to jam up. If you're in a defensive situation, that is a very bad thing to have happen. So you grip the gun very tight. Your other hand comes up to meet it, all right? No finger in front of the trigger guard. I did this, and I had a defensive instructor who I drove him nuts with that. Okay? The other hand goes around in terms of cupping it. Your thumbs are aligned as such, and you fire the weapon, maintaining a very tight grip at all times. Pushing into the target. You push that muzzle right into your target. Okay? So what we're going to do here is we're just going to load up. We got a hot magazine here. We got an empty gun, but we always treat the gun as if it is loaded. All right. Go ahead, pop that in, racking it, and bring it up tight. You see the position of my hands, and here we go. All right. That will end our day at the range.